use of the sword. All of the ones that come from the Japanese sword play, there is no such thing as a left-handed swordsman. Everything is coming from the right. And this is called the saya, and when you place the blade in, it rolls here, tips, slides on in from there, okay? The hand positioning that I learned was right here. Thumb against the tsuba, back of the thumb side of the hand inside here, and thumb side of the hand here. Now you don't want the thumb here, and you don't want to hold it with the back here. You want it right here. And they said you ought to be able to put a golf ball or an egg in between. Okay? If you have a longer handle like the Miyamoto Musashi style, supposedly swords, they have 13-inch tsuka, and you can hold deeper here. When you thrust with this, everything is a large movement when you cut with it. So you're pulling in here with the bottom hand or the back hand at the same time you're cutting through here. Everything a very, very large movement because you're wanting to be as far away as you can. You don't want to swing like a baseball bat because it is a cut. So each movement goes out and then pulls like so. You have two different things that you're learning in Ju Sho, and it is Happo no Kamae, which is the basic stances and positions for holding the form of the sword, and then the Happo Giri, which is the cutting movements of the sword. In the Ju Sho, you go through many of those movements. Okay, your basic Godan no Kamae. Okay, and you've got several positions. You have position up here to this side, position up here to this side. You also have position here, okay, and that's when you're going for and I'll explain Ichimonji Giri later, but Ichimonji Giri is any kind of a parallel strike, or you have the descending strike that chambers all the way to the back for the cutting straight down, okay? So all of those are positions of Godan no Kamae, positions of high holding of the sword, from here to here to here and back here, okay? You have Chudan no Kamae, and your Chudan no Kamae is here, and it is centered coming up from the hara, and the tsuba here should be level with your solar plexus, and the base, the tsuka, coming to the end here, should be all the way down here toward hara. Your kisaki, the point, is up from here to here on 45-degree angles, okay? Your other side is over here. On your Ichimonji Giri, your position is here, and of course that's for coming straight across here. Ichimonji Giri coming from here, straight across here, right? Your Gedan no Kamae, you have position here on this side, position here on this side, and you literally have an upper strike that comes in position here, and it is ripping from groin right up to the head. So those are your position on your no Kamae, okay? Your positions of holding and defense the sword. Your Giri, your Happo Giri, has the strikes, and if you can picture, there's 8 strikes, and if you picture like an oval that goes up this way and back around, and an oval that comes around that, and it is going parallel to the ground. And then you have the 45-degree oval coming this way, and the 45-degree oval coming this way. So you have the strike that comes down, that's 1. The strike that is coming up is 2. From right to left is 3. From left to right is 4. From 45 here, that's 5. Coming back up is 6. Starting on this side, here is 7. Coming across this way, and 8 comes right back up. And that is your 8 strikes in Happo Giri. So when you see those in the kata, those are the explanations on them. Your straight-in thrusting strike is called Morote Teki, okay? And it is going to chamber back in underneath the armpit here, and it drives out. And usually the strike is coming through right here under the sternum and solar plexus, or coming right straight in on either side of the trachea, okay? So when you see the high strike, it's designed to go there. When you see the one that's a little bit lower, it's coming into here. And that's the Morote Teki. That's your straight thrust strike. Other than that, you'll see the angle movements and the positions. Your stances are actually a little different from regular stances. They follow true to form of the difference between empty hand fighting or fighting with a weapon in your hand. But they should be recognizable stances still. You're not just standing straight up. The hakama that you wear had two purposes. One of them, it gave you more freedom of movement, and the other purpose was it disguised the movement of your feet, because it literally would come down from here, and they would do very quick and subtle movements in the hakama without being telegraphed by their opponent, who's looking at the entire opponent of being betrayed by his foot movement of what he's doing. You literally could shift here for a pivot, and your opponent would never see it. See if I can think of any other things that you would need to know on this. This form, Ju Sho, is not strictly a kata, because the kata are anywhere from 1 to 3 movements, and that is from the Aedo, the art of drawing the sword. Hakudo Nakayama, who we borrowed our kuden from, the always present on the battleground. He was the founder of Aedo, the art of drawing the sword and cutting after your draw. When Sensei Glenn Keeney went over to Japan to study under Gojin Yamaguchi and his son Gosai Yamaguchi for his 4th degree black belt, when he came back 4 months later, he came back with a sword and with this form written out. And he taught Dwight Jacobus, who we just sent a book to, he taught Dwight Jacobus and I this form. And it was one time, we never went through it again. We played with a wooden stick, literally, because you literally could not just go buy a sword back then. That would have been about 63, 64, right in there. You couldn't just go somewhere and buy a sword. But anyway, I have the original from what that's written out on old yellowed paper, and just about 4 years ago decided, let's put something that traditional into our system, and it'll just be something that's traditional historically, as well as just something fun and enjoyable, and another thing for people to do in weapons forms and all of that. And then, well, let's see. Actually, that'd be about 5 years ago, and then was it about 4 years ago we went to outside of Nashville, where we went to see The Last Samurai. Yes. With Nathan and Claudia and some others. Anyway, we went to see The Last Samurai, and as we were watching it, the first scene where he has come out, he's just brand new to the samurai village, and there is a group of men doing swords. You will see 4 of those movements in a row in the same movements that we're doing, and then in another scene where Tom Cruise is silhouetted in the dark up on a hillside, you'll see 4 more of those movements, exact same 4, and we all recognized that and thought, oh my goodness. So historically, it was kind of credentialed, because when you look through the credits on The Last Samurai, you see who they had. They're teaching the swords and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, it was pretty interesting. But that's kind of the history.